This video is inspired by Boylei Hobby Time's Wild Imaginary West. In the Wild Imaginary West, we have cowboys and monsters. The Cowboy is an IMAX mini from a kit I've seen Boylei use before, and I hope it fits the world he's created. I prepped the Cowboy by removing mold lines and fixing some rough spots. I then wash it in isopropyl alcohol, since I've had trouble getting paint to stick on this type of plastic before. The monster in this build will be a wasp, and I think the really big one looks scarier than the big one. I prepped this mini as well, though it's pre-primed and could technically be painted straight away. The antennae look too thick and cartoony for my taste, so I snipped them off and replaced them with pins. I give the pins an organic texture by applying superglue and baking soda. And I really love how that turned out. I don't know if this is totally natural, but I think the fur texture makes it look more realistic and scary. Next is priming time. Black base coat with a light grey zenithal highlight. I quickly removed the paint from the transparent wings, but accidentally wiped off some of the Wasp's zenithal highlight, so I just washed it off completely. I'm a fan of very diluted paints and building up through many coats. It takes time, but I think it looks better. The wings, however, get one layer of brownish contrast paint. My hands shake too much to do this detail with a paintbrush, so I just draw it on with a waterproof pen. And with that, I called it good. I imagine this cowboy is so fed up with the wasp nest near his farm that he is going to smash it to pieces. He is pretty tough though to do this without much protection, so I guess he's not allergic. The paint job on the cowboy is also a few coats of watered down paint, from dark to light. When the paint dries, it gets muted, so don't be afraid to go bold with the brightness. And with that, I called it good. Next up is the base. I use pink XPS foam because it's easy to cut and shape. A flat base is usually less exciting than one with some elevation, or at least it's harder to make a flat base look impressive, so I'm going with elevation. I make all the pieces of the base flush with each other using my Proxxon hot wire. To be honest, this base was a struggle. I kept adding stuff, trying new things, messing up, and then spending the rest of the build trying to save what I've ruined. So from here on out, it's not really a how-to video, but more of an how not to. I'm pleased with the final result though, so you might still find something useful. I used some plaster rocks and sculptor mold to make the ground look more organic. So far so good. The sculptor mold covered too much of the plaster rocks, so I brushed it off with a wet paintbrush. Then I attached the tree trunk where the wasp nest will be placed. I used wood glue for this and more sculptor mold to fill in the gaps between the trunk and the ground. I now make a ground texture paste using dry soil, baking powder, burnt umber acrylic paint and Mod Podge. This is a mix I like to call mustard. I spread this across the horizontal parts of the base and sprinkle various debris on top. I used a lot of grass tufts in this build, but I made sure to use different kinds and lengths. This part, like many other parts of the build, was an experiment. I used Citadel crackle paint to imitate lichen on the tree trunk. You'll see later in the video if it worked or not. The wasp nest is made from tissue paper. As you can tell by my lack of experience in rolling paper like this, I am not a smoker. Once the glue dried, I cut the ends of 2 of these rolls and glued them together to form the wasp nest. The wasp themselves, in 1/72 scale, must be super tiny, and glitter is the smallest uniform shape I have. All the parts of the base are now in place, and I can start the painting process. Much of this is self-explanatory, so I won't narrate. But if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time.